Hi there. You've probably heard that CAT is one of the toughest exams, and you're probably wondering, should I even take the exam? And this video is to help you identify if you are ready for it, if you have the necessary mental capacity, if you have the necessary logistics to take the exam. Now, this framework that I've created is called AAG. Now, AAG stands for Academics, Aptitude, and Grit. In the first segment, we're looking at academics. Okay. Under academics, I'm going to look at your 10th score. That's the first thing you have to evaluate. If you have above 75%, give yourself 1 point. Now, don't panic if you don't have above 75%. No one's going to disqualify you or say you can't write the exam because of it. In fact, if you want to know the exact percentage cutoff for 10th, 12th UG, watch my previous video. I added a profile score calculator which has the cutoffs for each by each category, so general, reserved, etc. Now, if you don't want to watch the video, you can also go to the IMA website. Now, this is IMA specific. Every college has its own cutoffs. So you can check out the college websites to kind of understand if you have the basic cutoff to sit for the to apply to that institute. But usually it's 50%, so don't worry. So if you don't have about 75%, please don't panic. The next question is also kind of panic inducing, I know. But if you have about 75% in 12th, give yourself 1 point. Again, if you don't, please don't panic. In UG, if you have about 60%, give yourself 1 point. So the maximum score possible here is 3. Okay. Now, remember that academics is not in your control anymore. So if you're not getting even a single point here, do not get disheartened because abhi jo ho gaya, so ho gaya. Now the objective is to look forward. So do you have it in you to put the efforts, at least given whatever shit has happened in the past, it is fine. Right. So we go to the next part, which is aptitude. Now, in aptitude, the first question is, are you willing to put more than 15 hours every week to study? Now, I usually do not say you have to study for X hours because it is a matter of your personal ability to comprehend things, how good you are at certain topics, and how much time you have. Because if you're working, you're in college, it's very hard to make time. So that is something that is purely up to you. You have to figure out how much time you can give. But for an average student, 15 hours is a minimum. There are some people who probably crack it with 8 hours also. I don't know. They're probably exceptionally brilliant. But for any average student, 15 hours to, you have to put in. Okay, so if you're willing to put in above 15 hours, give yourself 1 point. Now, if you're invested in reading, and this sounds probably very basic, who doesn't read, right? But we live in an era where our attention spans have gone down significantly because of reels, shorts, all of these things. So, are you willing to look at dense academic reading material and understand them, comprehend them? If you're willing to do that, give yourself 1 point. It probably, if you've never written the CAT before, it probably seems very chindi. You're probably like, Arey, ye to ho jayega. But when you read the passages, you will realize that it's very, very dense. So give yourself 1 point if you're willing to do that. Now, for DILR, are you willing to rewire your thought processes? What do I mean by that? I mean that often what happens is people look at solutions in DILR and they're like, हाँ हाँ ये तो बहुत easy है, ये हो जाएगा, which is probably true. But for a lot of us, we need to focus on thinking logically rather than looking at solutions. So sometimes in DILR, what will happen is you will spend 4 hours on one set during your practice and you'll still not crack it. The idea is to not get disheartened, and the other thing is to keep at it, because if you look at the solution in DILR, then you will never learn to think independently and think logically on your own. So are you willing to do that? If you are, give yourself 1 point. The last point for quant is a simple one. Are you willing to revisit your maths up to 10th standard? Now, the good thing about quant is in CAT and in most management entrance exams, I think all of them rather, is that they don't ask you 11th and 12th maths. So if you drop maths after 10th also, that is also fine. And everyone studies maths till 10th, so you're not at a disadvantage as such. So if you're willing to go and revisit your maths, brush up on the concepts, go back to your coaching class or to any YouTuber that you're referring to who teaches concepts and relearn concepts if you're stuck, then give yourself 1 point. So the maximum score possible here is 4. The last part is grit. Do you have the mental stamina to pick yourself up after setbacks? That is what this section is about. So the first question is, do you have resilience? Can you bounce back after a low score? Often what happens is when you take mocks, your scores will tank. And if you lose hard and you're like, abhi mujhse hoga hi nahi, because मैंने किया ये सब, ठीक है? So that's where this is coming from. So if you lose heart and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not competent enough. If you spiral into self-doubt, then this is not for you. But if you can pick yourself up after each setback, give yourself 1 point. If you have perseverance, if you can identify your weaknesses and work on them, not get bored, not feel like are ye to pointless hai. If you're willing to kind of keep at it, then give yourself 1 point. The last question is, can you work hard, which most people will say yes, but can you accept the outcome with grace? What happens often is we put in a lot of effort, but we don't have the mental wiring to accept the outcome. And so, what might happen is you might ride the cat and you might not get into your dream B school. A lot of people do not. If you get dejected after it, if you feel like your world has ended, if you think that's what's going to happen, then don't write the exam, or at least give yourself a zero for this point. Now, the thing is, I've taken the cat 3 times. If you're new to this channel, I'm telling you for that. And in my first 2 attempts, I did abysmally. But I said, and in my third attempt, I went with the mental framework that is bar jo hoga मैं accept करूंगी. And if you're willing to accept whatever outcome comes for you, then you're ready for this exam. So the maximum possible score here is 3. Okay. So now do a total out of 10. See how much you're getting. What is a good score then? Right. That's your next question. So to know कि क्या आप में है आग, if you have a score below 4, I would say you need to take a drastic shift in your mentality to write the exam. It's not impossible, but you really, really, really need to make huge sacrifices and prepare yourself to even prepare for the entrance exam. Okay, if your score is between 4 and 6, if you go the extra mile, you can do it. So I think it is possible, but you have to push yourself. So if you're willing to do that, and that's fine. And remember that MBA is not the only route. There are so many other career options that have a lot of meaning to them, and that also pay decently. So if you're not scoring well in this framework, maybe just reconsider whether you want to do an MBA even, and know that this is not the only option. There are plenty of meaningful and fulfilling options, career options that exist in this universe. If you have between 6 to 8, I think and I believe very strongly that you can do it. This is if you're in the 6 to 8 category, you probably don't have strong ACADS. Like I said earlier, it is okay if you don't have strong ACADS. Just keep at it. You can focus on the future and the present. Forget the past. What has happened, and look forward and see how you can give it your best given the circumstances. And the last is, if you have about 8 points, what are you waiting for? So go for it. I hope this video helped. I'm happy to take questions either in the comments section or on Instagram. I will link my handle. I prefer Instagram because I can send voice notes. Typing is too cumbersome for me. But I hope the video helped, and I will see you another day, another video.